Hello, my friends. I have two more principles of neuroplasticity for you today, and these ones are a little bit more fun. These are more my jam. I'm excited about these. They're a little more complex and juicy. So the first one, this is so cool. It's so helpful. Your brain can only help you find solutions based on your past experiences and what you already know. So if you have a problem, if you've never solved a problem, it doesn't matter what the problem is. Maybe this is such a silly thing, but like I used to not be able to, after my divorce, I didn't have a man in the house to open tight jars, and my hands are not strong. They've never been. And there was like this idea in my brain that it just was impossible. I was like, well, how am I going to do it? And so I had to find new solutions. But any problem you had, and especially in brain rewiring, like if you have a symptom or a particular fear pattern or thought pattern that you've never been able to overcome before, the brain's going to assume it's impossible because it's only basing what it understands to be possible based on what's already happened. If you have a certain problem, let's say that when somebody gets angry with you, you resolve that problem by becoming submissive and agreeing with them. Oh, yes, I did something wrong. And then they calm down because you've agreed with them, implicated them. And that's been the past solution to, people being angry with you. That's the one your brain's going to automatically bring to the surface, whatever you've already done, or that's what it's going to bring to you as like, this is the only solution. If avoiding things because they are triggering your limbic system and creating symptoms or reactions is the only way you've resolved that problem or solved that problem, that's still going to be the first thing your brain brings to mind when you're incrementally training is stay away from that thing because it's dangerous, because this is what happened last time. And the only way we've, been able to fix that is to avoid it. Usually when we're in limbic impairment recovery, we get to a point where avoiding it isn't working anymore because we've avoided ourselves into a corner where we usually can't eat or sleep or really do anything or leave the house, and that's not a workable solution anymore. Avoidance eventually exhausts itself as a workable solution. But this goes for anything, literally anything. There are so many things in life where I always watched other people and I was like, how do they just do that? Like, I don't understand how they're, having all these things go so well and everything's so easy for them. And a lot of times people just were given, that's one thing. There's many things in that, but other people might have solutions you aren't aware of, and they've just been part of their lives from the time they were young, and it's just never been an issue because they always had a workable solution. So know that, because anytime you come up against a problem and your brain is telling you that the only options are what you've already tried, or doom and gloom because that means there's no solution, know that there are an infinite number of possible solutions for every problem you've never found a solution for. You just aren't aware of them yet. This is literally saved my life more times than I can count, to say, okay, I may be really stuck. I may be, living in the shed in my husband's backyard because I don't know how to get out of this abusive situation, but I believe there's a solution, even though I have no idea what it is. I couldn't possibly fathom how I'm supposed to do this with no money and no anything and no brain function, but I believe that there's a solution and I choose it. I used that affirmation countless times for so many different really big real obstacles in my brain and my journey in my life. It's really, really helpful because you're consciously reminding your own brain that even if you don't know the solution yet, there is one. It's a possibility. You don't have to be aware of it. We don't necessarily, automatically think up amazing new solutions for everything. But know that, because there are so many dead ends that are really just perceived dead ends that are just your brain kind of scanning what you already know and saying, well, there's nothing on file here, so this must be an unsolvable problem and you're doomed. Like, the end, you're done. It's not true. So always look for new solutions. Always look for new information about any problem you have to solve, because there are solutions out there. The other one that's so fun is the reticular activating system. This thing is so cool. Classic example of this is, you go shopping for a yellow Jeep, not really seen a lot on the road, and then all of a sudden you're seeing yellow Jeeps everywhere. So your reticular activating system, and your retina is your eye, right? So it literally is a part of your brain where when you start to give attention, especially emotionally charged attention, to anything repeatedly, and it could be negative or positive emotional charge, your brain will cue your eyes to start scanning for it without you knowing it. It's a subconscious thing. And so then you start to notice that thing everywhere. It's really an amazing thing. When I was pregnant with my twins, I thought twins were rare. And then because I was pregnant, I all of a sudden started meeting people who were twins, who were having twins, who had twins all over the place, like all the time, like almost like every other day. And it was like, Okay, they're not rare. It was not part of like my world before this. There's so many examples of that. But the key with this is if you're focusing on negative sensations in your body, negative emotional experiences within yourself or in your life, when we give that our attention, the brain sees it as important and is going to try to repeat it. Your reticular activating system is like this part of you that is like, okay, the my human, like the actual adult, the person that you are, this is what's important to this person based on what they pay attention to. Like you're paying for this thing with your attention, and the brain's like, okay, I'll give you more because you're paying attention to it. It's this cool little helper that just does literally whatever you tell it to by what you pay attention to and what you're expecting to see. And so you can program that too, and you can even, as a redirect, if you're caught in a loop, tell your brain, hey, help me find everything that's blue in this room. Super simple, but even just saying that to your brain in that way, you're really utilizing this part of your brain, or in the way that it's designed to be used. It's there to help you look for things. Help me look for beautiful things. Help me look for joyful things. Help me look for positive events in the world. And setting those intentions, or when you focus a lot on joy or on love, you'll start seeing hearts everywhere and the word love on cars and buildings and the sidewalk everywhere. And you'll start finding, meeting joyful people, and whatever you give your attention to, you're going to automatically start finding it in the world more. So those are two amazing principles. We're understanding them. You can program yourself and your brain to be able to have experiences you want to have instead of unconsciously repeating experiences you don't want to have. Love you guys.